Still working.
Can you hear my dog?
Oh yeah, that was all right. I was thinking maybe it was outside my house. I hear Chloe.
I think I better.
There we go.
Can you hear my dog?
We're on.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Yes, we were talking about the dog, but we are good to go here tonight with the second presentation on the redistricting proposal for the Greater Amsterdam School District. I'm here tonight with Eric McClary.
Hello.
And my name is Michelle Downing, and we are going to walk through the process here with you over the course of the next 30 minutes. A little bit about us. Myself, I worked in Amsterdam for 34 years teaching, and then became an administrator and recently retired in July as the assistant superintendent. And I've been fortunate enough to be able to come back and just help consult, work on a few projects. And this has been one of my primary focuses for looking into next year. And I've had the pleasure of working once again with Mr. McClary. We've worked together closely for what, Eric, at least the last 30 years. So yeah. So why don't you want to tell a little bit about yourself as well?
Yeah, I've been worked for district actually 21 years. So it's been 21 years working together. And IT mainly, computers, networking, but then now I'm in data processing, and so any numbers that come up usually come from my desk. Yeah, that's my job.
Absolutely. He's the go-to as far as that piece is concerned. So tonight, what we are going to be doing is, let's see here if my computer will cooperate.
Stream still? There you go.
Yeah, let's see. Let me go back. So tonight, what we're going to be doing is there were a couple of updated questions. We'll review those at the end. A little bit of an introduction as far as what is the redistricting piece, why are we starting it? Eric's going to go through and give us a thorough review of the map and the thought process behind the redistricting and where the lines are falling. And then we'll walk through what it looks like for the next few years as far as transportation is concerned and the student transition plan. So we have a full agenda here this evening, so we'll get started right off the bat with the introduction. So the Redistricting Advisory Committee was formed in January to study the transportation concerns in the Greater Amsterdam School District.
Michelle, the slides.
Pardon me?
The slides aren't up on the screen.
The slides aren't up. Thank you very much.
I'm like, where are we?
No, I thought something was a little strange here. Here we go.
Tonight, 38 states are opening ease restrictions, even as 19 of those states see cases on the rise. So we're going to get to it all for you.
Here we go.
There we go.
Okay.
How you doing, folks?
Hey, Ray.
Hello, Dr. Ray. Okay, so let me know when that's up there, Eric.
Yes, it's up there. It's streaming now.
Okay, great. So as far as the introduction is concerned, the Redistricting Advisory Committee was formed, here we go, in January to study the transportation concerns in Amsterdam. The committee consisted of board members, parents, teachers, and administrators, as well as community members. There were about 20 members on that committee. And we met multiple times during the winter to formulate a plan. Back in the fall, Eric and I had worked on a study to see, to investigate the transportation issues within the district. Students would be waiting an hour to an hour and a half after school for their bus to come and pick them up. Students might be riding a bus for as long as an hour and a half, either on the way to school or on the way home. So we had many transportation issues. Bus driver shortages, could be was the main reason for the issues that we were having. So the study was put together, and we went to the Board of Education, the Greater Amsterdam School District Board of Education, who gave us the go-ahead to continue with the process and come up with recommendations to improve the transportation piece. The committee developed a 3-year plan for redistricting, and we also made additional recommendations for consideration. to work on a smooth transition. So, as you can see on this next slide, we're talking about what is redistricting. We're talking about a plan to place all elementary school students and have them return to their home school zones. So they will be going to the school closest to where they live, pretty much ending the current magnet school configuration. And the question is why? Well, what started out as a transportation issue evolved into looking at what would be best for students. And research does show that having students attend schools with children in their neighborhood, being able to go back and support that neighborhood school concept definitely is beneficial for multiple reasons for our children. Who will be affected by the redistricting? We are talking pre-K through 5th grade students, and it is going to be beginning in the fall of 2020. So this coming fall. Now, some of the big news with this plan is that we can actually reduce bus routes anywhere between 65 to 75%. The bus routes will be reduced significantly with this return to neighborhood schools or homeschool zones, as we like to refer to them. The sooner the changes are made, the sooner we will see changes in the busing issues. So the plan, as you'll see detailed here this evening, is a 3-year plan. So we may not see the changes that we would like to see next year right off the bat because we are extending this out for 3 years. The goal will be, however, in 3 years' time, we will be able to see our bus routes reduced by that amount. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Eric, and he is going to walk us through the process and what the maps actually look like.
All right. Just shared. And make sure it pops up. Can you see it, Michelle, or is it up?
Still looking at mine on YouTube, but it's a little bit delayed. So wait, here it comes.
Should be up. Yeah, there you go. Starting to present. All right. So basically, I'm going to explain how I came across the borders for our new maps, for our new zones, and what went into deciding where to put the lines. But first, I'm going to tell you about the current situation of our current situation with the kids, and this is our current busing problem. This is the current map of the school district. As you can see by the colors, they represent a kid going to a particular school, and as you can see, they're all over the place. So you can imagine trying to make routes to pick up all the kids, especially out in the country, and then deliver them to 4 different schools, possibly, depending on the bus trip we're talking about. See, I jumped ahead of myself on you though. Where they go to school. I'm just jumping ahead. And this, of course, caused delays and long bus rides. Redistricting is going to change the map to this. As you can see, it's more organized and group distribution, and it lowers the busing requirements by 70%. And actually, in McNulty, I'll talk about it, but they're down to practically no buses, depending on the situation. The zones themselves have been designed with a student safety in mind. So when I was designing these, I didn't want any of the students to cross the major roads, Market Street, 67, Church Street. Even Northampton, actually, because there's no real crossing zone till the bottom. And that's actually, you'll notice we'll have kids down there. So you have to start somewhere. So these are the new home school zones we currently have, or we're going to have in place. There's 4 zones, and each one's for each elementary school. McNulty's in the middle, and it's in blue on these maps. Barclay's in yellow. Curry is in green. And Teckler is in red. In designing, we, of course, took account students' safety first, and then we wanted to make the least amount of crossings of major roadways as possible for students that are going to walk to school each day. We also calculated, based on our current enrollment in the buildings, a baseline of how many kids could fit in that building or how many classes we could have. We need that for a reference point so we could design the zone to make them as big as possible. So that led us quickly to McNulty. Now I'm going to zoom in a little closer so you can see it better. McNulty is unique because 600 kids are in walking distance of McNulty, but it can only hold 500 students. So with that in mind, we started making the borders. We made the cutoff on Route 30, so no one has to cross the road there for safety. Next border was on Northampton Road, again, not upper Northampton, lower Northampton, basically. And to fill up the school to capacity, because again, like I said, there's over 600 kids, we took the lower part of down by Guy Park and Division up to Evelyn Street, and that filled the school to 500 kids. So from there, we went to Barkley, and thinking that would be easy. And because it's the largest zone, but it also has the fewest students, that the south side alone didn't fill the whole school. So we zoomed in. I'll show you what we did to fill the school. We added the East End to Barkley Homeschool. Just the right amount of kids to fit there, to fit in there and fill it up. And it was also for busing. Makes it really efficient to bus them across the river. There'd be, if I'm correct, 3 buses probably going across the river to grab all those kids, because there's a lot. There's 100 there, so, and depending, and they'll fill it all up. After that, we went to Curie. Curie is like the perfect balance of walkers and bus riders. It's a nice, area for kids. We do have some in the country, of course. We'll zoom in here to show you the map better. Again, safety. We don't want nobody crossing 67, period. Even if they're getting picked up in the country, I'd rather not have them walk across the highway to get onto the bus. So we did south of 67, and we did the same thing. They got the other side of Market Street, so the kids wouldn't have to cross. That goes up to Brookside Ave to and including Wallen Street, which is basically the first turn to go back down. And we also included Colonial Square Apartments to fill the school, because even in this large area, it was still not enough to fill the school to capacity. And that leaves us with our 4th homeschool zone, which is Teckler. Teckler's location, it's got a smaller walking populace if you know the school. Plus, as you see by the map, it's a lot of country. And it's got a larger area for the busing, of course, due to that. And we're going to zoom in and see what we did here for borders. So they're taking north of 67, so anything north. So it's kind of easy to figure out where they're going to go quickly. You can say north of 67 is Teckler, south is Curie. The west of Evelyn Street, where we stopped for McNulty, out into the country, out to Fort Johnson and beyond. And the Northampton, to the, I guess, the west of Northampton, that area, up in that area. And, of course, Hageman's in the whole zone anyhow, so that whole area. So you can see, we put a lot of thought into the actual boundaries and what we wanted to do there for safety. And, between that and building size, we kind of left with no real perfect choices, in the sense that, of course, the map could be changed slightly here and there, but in the end, these were the safest routes and most efficient routes we could find for the whole thing. Years back, we had the extra school Bacon, and that made, Teckler zone would have been smaller in that sense towards that. But of course, we don't have Bacon now, so those kids needed to go somewhere, and so they got shipped out to Teckler in the end. And again, there are going to be less trips, up to 70% less trips for most schools. McNulty will be down to a few, depending. And because they're all grouped together now, people have asked, is it going to be like an hour to get to school still, more than an hour for a kid out in Fort Johnson? And the answer is no, because you're picking up all the same kids and going to one school. You're not going to multiple schools. That's what a lot of the delays are. Multiple schools, transfer buses, waiting for one to go. One's 5 minutes late, makes the next one 10 minutes late, makes the next one 15. You'll have one bus pickup. There's probably maybe 1 or 2 routes possible on the west end, and those both will be, I think it was 32 minutes was the longest route to get from the farthest point out in the west to Teckler. So that's a major saving. The walking zones are safer. There's no crossing the major roads. And one of the big things that, we learned during this whole thing is, all of a sudden now you'll be like going to school with your neighbors. You'll be hanging out with them, and other kids are close to your homes. So, that's a big bonus also. The maps I showed you are on a website. The link's on our webpage, where you probably click the link to get to this video or this presentation. And it's open to the public. You can zoom in, you can search. Up in the upper left-hand corner is a little magnifying glass. You click on that, type in your address. Make sure you put the city and the state in, because this will search the entire United States. And it'll zoom right in, and it'll easily, quickly, just putting your mouse by your thing will tell you what zone you're in. Also, up in the corner is a plus and a minus if you want to zoom in. And there's also your mouse wheel will do it too. And that's on our webpage. You probably just saw it. You've probably been there also. And if you have any questions, just send out an email to rdquestions@gsd.org, and we'll answer them as soon as possible. And stay safe.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Yep.
So let's see here. We're going to go back to present my screen. So Eric did a great job of walking us through the maps, the process, and where you can find the information, as far as if you're not sure as to what district or what school zone your children will be in. What I'm going to do now is just walk us through the basics as to what this is going to look like over the course of the next few years. So for the next 3 years, for 2020 to 21, 21, 22, and 22, 23, transportation will continue to be provided for students. All right. So if children are staying in the school that is not their home school, transportation will continue to be provided. Beginning in 23, 24, these students may continue in the building of choice as long as there is room in the designated grade and transportation to and from school is provided by the parent or guardian. So starting in 23, 24, the district is only going to be providing transportation to students who are in their home schools. Okay. Also beginning 23, 24, transportation to any other addresses than home is going to be provided under 2 conditions. The first is that daycare is within the student's home school zone, or daycare is a licensed provider within the Greater Amsterdam School District. So let's talk about the transition plan. How are we going to work this through? We have the following priorities set up. The first is that separated siblings can now be relocated to homeschool zones. Current K-5 students will be given the option of remaining in the current school or relocating to their homeschool zone. For next year only, incoming pre-K and K students will be given the option of attending a school with siblings or attending a school in the homeschool zone. So that's for next year only. Beginning in 2020 and 21, also, students receiving consultant teaching services can opt to return to their homeschool zones as well, because they will be able to receive the necessary services there. All new entrants that are coming in will continue to be automatically assigned to the homeschool zones. So what we would like you to do next, and we've had this out on all types of social media, letters have gone out asking parents to complete a survey to let us know what your preferences are. And to do that, you simply have to go to the district website, and you can't miss this huge yellow banner up at the top that's dealing with the COVID pieces, most very important pieces there. And then at the far right-hand side, you can see the redistricting questionnaire. But here on this page, you will find information that you may need to see. So here it's advertising, the YouTube pieces that we're running tonight, and there's the video from last week as well. The map that Eric was talking about is here with scribblemaps.com. So you can go in and check to see where you might belong as far as the homeschool pieces are concerned. Frequently asked questions, we're continually updating that as well to bring up any new questions that may arise. Frankly, there haven't been very many since the last presentation. So here, we need your help. We ask that you click on this Google form and let us know whether or not you'd like your child to remain in school that they're currently enrolled in, or if you would like your child to move into their neighborhood school next year. So it's a pretty quick form. We do ask that you complete one for each child that is enrolled in the district or will be enrolled in the district. That'll make our process run a little bit smoother. We are currently, the numbers are going up. I think we're currently at about 40%. So people are definitely responding, and we're hoping that we can have as many responses as possible by this Friday, so that we can plan accordingly and make sure we have all of our bases covered. One other thing that we want that is definitely worth bringing up here tonight are the additional recommendations that the committee had made. These recommendations are still under consideration by the district administration. So there may be more on this forthcoming. You'll see here that one of the pieces that the redistricting committee thought was important was potentially offering a shuttle service during cold winter months, say December through March, a service that would be provided for students who had to walk to school within that 1 mile walking zone. Here it says for each elementary, but we were really focusing on McNulty, since McNulty is the one homeschool zone where the majority of kids, pretty much all of the kids, would be walking. So consideration for providing just a bus stop shuttle service to help the kids walk up the hill or walk over, over within that 1 mile, to help with attendance, the attendance needs, and to be able to offer some support there. Another piece that the committee felt strongly about was a before school program, looking at possibly opening the schools up about an hour early from 7:30 in the morning until 8:30 in the morning, and have supervision there for children, for parents who may need to head on out to work. Currently, we have many parents who may be putting their children on a bus at 7:30 in the morning and then heading to work. If we're moving to homeschool zones, busing may not be an option, so daycare, childcare may be a necessity. So the before school program is something that the committee felt strongly about. We also talked about the potential for offering after school programs at Barkley and or Techler. Currently, there is grant funding that may be used next year for after-school programs at the other 2 elementary schools. So this was something else that the committee felt strongly about. While the recommendations had been shared with the Board of Education, we all have to remember that these recommendations were created back in the beginning of March, and that was prior to the current pandemic issues that we are struggling with, and prior to many of the financial difficulties that the school district is trying to deal with at this point, right? With state aid funding being cut and that kind of thing. But again, these were recommendations that the committee felt strongly about. So the one new question that came up since last week is here on the screen for you. It says, my child currently attends McNulty, and our homeschool area, according to the map, is Curie. From the looks of the map, McNulty has a small area that is covering compared to Curie. So I was wondering, does this mean McNulty will have smaller class sizes compared to the other schools? So the answer to that is no. Class sizes will be consistent across schools and grade levels. The committee talked about this quite a bit, and that is something that we feel very strongly about. The McNulty area, of course, is denser. So 500 students live within that small area compared to the much larger area of Curie where there's 500 students residing. So again, class sizes will be consistent across schools and grade levels. And the plan does encompass that piece. Some of the other previously asked questions, these were shared last week as well. The first question here is, will the pandemic affect the redistricting plan? And the answer is no, we are moving forward as planned. What will special education services look like with redistricting? So prior to redistricting, grade level consultant teacher special education programs varied by building. For example, currently Marie Curie offers consultant teaching special ed programs only in grades K and 4. With redistricting, now will be able to offer consultant teaching services at every grade level in every elementary building. So we can see a return of siblings going to school together in that regard. Now, for those students in special programs, 1511, 1212, self-contained classrooms, they will continue to stay in the building that they are currently in. Redistricting will not impact those self-contained classrooms. Do I have any say on which school my students can attend next school year? And of course, the answer to that is yes. The district is asking parents to complete the questionnaire and telling us whether or not you want your child to stay in the current building or return back to their homeschool zone. When do I have to decide by? May 8th, that's this Friday, to let us know. It is understood that if we do not receive a reply by May 8th, the district will assign the students according to class size availability. So the district will then be able to take a look at the numbers and assign students accordingly to make sure that class sizes are equal across the district. Where do I fill out the questionnaire? As I had just shared with you before, going to the district website and look for the redistricting link. Everything you need is there. You can fill it out online. If you're not comfortable with that, you can, I know paper questionnaires were sent out, I think about 2 weeks ago, and they can be mailed back to Eric, either in a snail mail or emailed if it's scanned. There's a drop-off at the district office. There's a drop-off box there that they can be left off there. And also there's the 3 meal distribution sites, Techler, Lynch, and the high school, between 11 and 1 on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So anything that's going to work for you will work for us. We do ask that we have the information by May 8th because there is a lot that needs to be done. Again, transportation will continue to be provided for the next 3 school years for students not choosing to attend their home school. After that, that is no longer the case. Okay, so once again, beginning in 2023-24, the district will provide transportation only to students in their home school zones. Will transportation to any other addresses other than home be provided after the 3-year phase-in period? Yes. Transportation will be provided for daycare drop-offs within the student's home school zone or to a licensed daycare provider within the Amsterdam School District. And will transportation continue to be provided for pre-K students? No. So due to the COVID issues and the loss of state aid, transportation is no longer going to be provided for children attending the pre-K programs beginning this fall. So pre-K transportation will now be the responsibility of the parents or guardian for the student enrolled in the program. How can I find out more? Once again, as Eric had said, as I had shared, go to our website. You can email questions to rdquestions@gaasd.org. Eric and I are monitoring that regularly and getting back to people as quickly as we can. Some of the questions we've received primarily have been individual questions. We're looking at particulars with different individual families. So please feel free to reach out and we'll be happy to answer those questions. And then of course our online presentations here, which are being, this is being recorded again, as was the presentation last week. So that's what I have. That's what we have here tonight for you. Eric, are there any questions coming up on the chat?
No, I don't see any.
Okay, all righty. And then with that, Eric, unless you can think of anything else, I think we are done here for tonight.
Yeah, I think it's good.
All right. Well, thank you everyone once again for joining us, and please feel free to reach out to us at any given time We're here to walk through this program with you. Thanks again.
Good night. Thank you very much. Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Awesome job.
Thank you.